This is the Outsourcing and Offshoring Philippines podcast with Henry Acosta. Our guest today is Tiffany Botel. She is an international property management expert, business coach, keynote speaker, certified trainer, and author. So you can tell she is a master in her field. She is the CEO of Property Management Virtual Assistant, or you can call it PMVA. She's joining us today on the show to talk about the outsourcing and offshoring industry here in the Philippines and her company, PMVA, which provides high quality, cost effective, industry trained administration service agents. With all that said, thank you so much for coming on the show, Tiffany.
Hey, Henry, how you doing? Thanks for having me on board. Great to be here.
Yeah, and thank you so much for your time. We understand that things can get hectic and busy for people like you.
Oh, yeah, sure. That's life.
Yeah, and so for our first question, how did you get started with PMVA? Or what inspired you into making your own company?
Yeah, thanks for that question, Henry. We're an industry-specific outsourcing business in the Philippines, which I think is probably a little bit new in terms of outsourcing. And being niched to a particular industry rather than general outsourcing duties. And really the reason we started our business in the Philippines was it was an extension of our Australian business. So we've had Australian property management training and coaching business here in Australia for almost a decade. And the offshore outsourcing model that we moved into was really an extension of that original consulting business where our consulting and training clients wanted that extra pair of hands, that little bit of assistance, and hence we were a training company that decided to move into the outsourcing space, which now allows our clients to have fully trained outsourcing assistants. So the quality of the product or the quality of the service doesn't change from one country to another.
Do you guys consider yourself an outsourcing company or an offshoring company?
An outsourcing company. So our model is of premium dedicated service. So Australian property management or real estate companies with a property management division outsource to dedicated virtual assistants. So each agency will have one or more dedicated team members. So those team members become an extension of the Australian businesses in the Philippines. So we just call it outsourcing because we believe that the quality of the level of the service that we provide for administration would be that equivalent to that of being done here in Australia.
Yeah, and yeah, you guys sound like you really know your stuff, and knowing that you guys are an Australian company, I'm sure a lot of clients actually consider that as a really big plus since you understand where they're coming from.
Yeah, look, there's always room for competition. And I always say people on a mission have no competition. If you're clear on what you want to do and you know the niche that you want to work in, that works for us. We know exactly where we want to be within the real estate industry or the real estate sector within Australia and New Zealand. The potential for us to go to other countries is there as well. But we know what we do and what we do really well, which is the property management side of a real estate business. So yeah, we play in that space and we try and make as best an impact as possible. And most importantly, the focus for us is to make sure that the quality, just because it's being done in another country, the quality is just as good.
Yeah, and could you describe to us your ideal client for PMVA?
Anyone with a property management business?
Yeah.
No, not everyone. Obviously, there's conditions within that. Ideally, we work with clients that have a rent roll of around about 200 properties or more. We have a few clients that have got quite a few thousand properties as well. And we cater for different types of structure within the property management industry. So in property management, when it comes to managing the actual property itself, that has to be done locally, of course, because the property is a building and it's located in Australia.
Yeah.
But the administration side of managing that property, there's a lot of paperwork that needs to be done and lodged and a lot of correspondence and communication that needs to happen. And so we take that offshore. Yeah, so it's about making sure that the rent roll itself has the right amount of people dedicated to the right amount of workload as well. So we cater for lots of different types of situations in Australia. There's typically what we call a portfolio model, where you've got one property manager managing a portfolio of maybe 100 properties, and they do everything related to that portfolio. And then we have other types of structure where we call it a pod or a hybrid or a task-based, where there's individuals in an office that specialise in different parts of the management of the property. And so our model's great because it works in with either of those types of styles. It works in with pretty much any style. But of course, in order to have a dedicated virtual assistant in another country, you need volume. So usually our starting ideal client has around about 200 managements within their database or pool.
Yeah, wow, you guys sound like you handle big business.
Some big business, but we like small business too.
Yeah.
We consider ourselves a mixture of both. We started small and obviously we're growing. And it's our vision that our clients also come to us.
So for our next question, I've read on your website that you personally train each employee that you hire for virtual assistant. So how do you go about with training them?
Yeah, well, as having a consulting and training business first, I was able to obviously leverage my time in training property managers here in Australia. So over the last 5 years, I've trained over 20,000 property managers here in Australia. And to do that, I did that either face-to-face, I did it through remote connection, and the other model was through video training. So we already had a huge library of how-to training videos that I used in my consulting business. So when we started, Property Management Virtual Assistant, we use those as our resource. So I do feel like I personally train because I made every single video, I wrote every bit of content. And so even though we are able to scale our business through training, the videos were personally made by me for our audience, which allows me to connect to as many team members as possible. So we have a 12-week rollout plan when a VA comes on board. We recognise that they don't understand the industry. They probably haven't worked with an Australian client before. And so we know that we've got to teach them the ropes and make sure that they're understanding the tasks that they're doing. Partly it's not just process work, which a lot of outsourcing can be just repetitive tasks over and over again. What's really important for us to raise the bar on quality is to make sure that when the virtual assistant's performing their task, they actually know why they're doing it, which is really important. And that's what all of our training implements, is the why behind the process itself.
Oh, yeah, that sounds really impressive. And sounds like working for you guys is a pretty good deal too.
Well, we hope so. I mean, it's a challenge. Anything in life is a challenge. Any time you get out of your comfort zone, it's going to challenge you. And so we understand that it's a mixture between challenge and reward as well. So with challenge comes the great reward, and our team know that. So we don't make it too hard for them, though.
For first-time clients, would you ever recommend them going to the Philippines first and maybe meet their assistant, or is it okay for them to just stay in Australia?
Look, at the starting point, most of our clients come to us because they're really flat out busy and just need the assistance. So we focus on that first and make sure that we get the operations up and running first. That said, we have our first client trip this year in November. So we're inviting our clients to come on a bit of a tour of the Philippines, come and hang out at the office, meet their team, as well as understand a little bit of the cultural background, get to visit a few things to see in the country as well, and just get a little bit more behind the scenes of the culture of the Philippines. We're also doing some property management themed training around growth of the property management business with our clients and how you can leverage time out of your VA to be able to grow your rent roll further too. So we're doing a little bit of industry training while the clients are here on the trip this year as well. And it's our plan to do this trip each year with our clients so that they can feel like they're connected. But the biggest thing for us is video communication. So a lot of our team are very much encouraged, including our clients. We encourage them a lot to use video because we find when you connect face-to-face, even though it's not in real life because they're living in another country, the more face-to-face connection that the client can get with their virtual assistant, the better the performance, because it humanizes the tasks and it humanizes the relationship. So video is a really important tool in our business. And we recommend all our clients to kick off with video and try not to just do phone calls as much as possible, but a lot of face-to-face. Makes a big difference.
For first-time clients for you guys, what would be your best advice for them?
Our best advice for new clients is to just don't set your expectations too high. And really have a very solid plan of how it's going to work for you. So what we do with our clients is we have an initial conversation. We also include their entire team in that conversation, and we talk about the pros and cons, where we're going to have perhaps challenges in the business, in the rollout of having their new team member come on board, and then creating a really solid structure. I think most human beings like to follow structure, especially if they're charting uncharted territory, if you know what I mean, and getting out of their comfort zone really and trying this new technique. And if anything, that's always a bit of a challenge. But if we have a framework that we can follow, it always makes it a lot easier because it shows us the roadmap of where we are now and where we're going. So I would say anybody coming on board, planning is really the most important part at the start. Of course, you've got to be flexible and the plan doesn't always work out exactly how you want it. But having a framework versus no framework can be a real challenge.
Yeah, and are there any misconceptions that people usually have when they start or before they start outsourcing to the Philippines?
I found a little bit of a challenge, I guess, a little bit from an Australian to Filipino perspective is our Australian clients probably don't realise just how day-to-day life in the Philippines is very much the same between our two countries. People still get up to go to work, they still have a job, they go home, they hang out with their families just like we do here in Australia. And I think the misconception is that the lifestyle in the Philippines is probably a little bit a lot different. Traffic, cars, the way we live, all those sorts of things are, I guess, misconceptions really, because their perspective is they won't work as good. They're not as talented as perhaps we are in our industry. There's some of the things that I come across when I get started with a new client, but it doesn't take very long for them to work out that we're all the same.
And for all our listeners right now, what would be your main takeaway message for all of them?
I think, look, outsourcing is definitely moving into a more industry-specific, I guess, niche in terms of outsourcing that I've seen. I think, moving forward, there will always be a place for general outsourcing, but I think specialised outsourcing is definitely going to become more and more common, and businesses like ours are going to become more common as we grow with our future in outsourcing. I think, really if we look at any industry, not just property management, but in any industry that has a lot of admin, they're the types of businesses I think will be very successful in offshore outsourcing. Because you've got to remember the Filipino culture is, one of the greatest attributes that you guys have is your ability to take instruction and follow it all the way through. Like, I find the commitment of our team and the drive to take that instruction and follow it through is superior across the planet, really. And that's your absolute greatest strength that I've found in my team. And the downside is, in a more Western, I guess, country, we tend to think more multi-level. And so that's our greatest gift. And it's about turning your Philippine workforce in this beautifully structured business rather than expecting too much from your outsourcing arrangement for them to be the critical thinkers and the decision makers. And I think when people work out that, if I drive it here in Australia and I make the bigger decisions and I have my team over there process those decisions, it's a really great marriage.
Yeah, and that's actually interesting how you said the Philippines is, I guess, one of their strengths is the workforce.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I just wanted to ask, have you tried outsourcing out other countries, or like how compared to other countries? Have you have any experience outsourcing, like let's say India or Vietnam?
All of the above.
Yeah.
Thailand, Bangladesh, you name it. I tried them all. So I was always quite attracted, obviously I think most people who are listening to your podcast have probably all read The 4 Hour Workweek, probably the most popular book in terms of our modern day outsourcing. And I thought, oh yeah, I'll jump on and get a freelance when I first started my first consulting business to help me develop my website and so on. So in that journey of running 2 companies now, we've had multiple changes in our brand and graphic design and multiple websites and so on. And in that journey, I started really in freelance model, where most of the staff were home-based and different countries. And then I moved into dedicated services for myself. So I started to build my own internal team. And then, of course, because my internal team was performing so great, my coaching and consulting clients saw that and went, oh, now we want one too. And that was how we evolved into now full-time having a business in the Philippines. But I definitely could tell you that it wasn't until I hit the Philippines and discovered the skill set was so rich in terms of the diversity of types of tasks and this commitment to wanting to create the result for their client, that I didn't need to look anywhere else. That was it. And of course, the country now that I've been multiple times is just so beautiful. And the province where our office is located in Pampanga, the food is just phenomenal. So it's a marriage for me because I love eating.
Yeah, thank you so much for the compliments. We really, as Filipinos, we really appreciate all those words that you just shared.
It's important in our business. One of our, I guess, points of difference in our company when staff come on board, we really want to use our business as a vehicle for people to create their dreams and make their dreams come true. And we think, it's our belief that everybody can have their dreams come true in life, and we use our business as a vehicle for that. And that's one of the greatest gifts that I could give back to our team. And because of that, they perform at such a great level for our clients who then get to receive the benefits of those gifts too. It's really important to us.
Wow. Thank you. That's all I can say. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And for anyone who's interested in reaching out to you, Tiffany, and even talking to a PMVA or property management virtual assistant, what's the best way that they can reach you guys?
Yeah, look, our website's just www.PMVA, Property Management Virtual Assistant.com.au, so Australian website. So you can just Google my name. It's Tiffany Botel. I think I'm the only one in the planet with that name. So it comes up pretty quick in Google search, and you can find us through there. And our contact in the Philippines is also on our website. So our team leader is Jeffrey Espinita. So you can contact him on our website as well. So we've got a few different avenues to get in touch. But our office is located in Clark Freeport, just outside of Manila. Our doors are open. If you just let us know you're coming, we'll give you the grand welcome.
Sounds great. And thank you so much for your time and getting on the show with us. We really appreciate it.
You're welcome. No worries. Thank you. Thank you so much. Have a great day.
You have a good one too. And that was Tiffany Botel, the CEO of Property Management Virtual Assistant, or PMVA. We just finished talking about PMVA, what they do and how they do their business, and the ins and outs of the BPO industry here in the Philippines. And if you want to learn more about the offshoring and outsourcing industry here in the Philippines, visit us at www.offshoring.com.ph.